Yo, what is up guys, my name is Grizzly, welcome back to another League of Legends video. Today I'm gonna make a commentary over a Darius game I played. I think this is a pretty good game to show where I pretty much carried the game single-handedly. So with this setup I'm running here, I'm going Face Rush, and I'm going Legend Alacrity and Triumph in the Precision tree as my secondary, and I'm also running Flash Ghost. Now this is a setup that I have been trying out quite a bit, and it's actually like super good for later on into the game, and since taking sorcery main tree gives you a lot of flat AD early on, it's actually not even bad for early game. So overall I think that this right now is the most like solid overall page for Darius. Now it's not like the highest DPS setup or like the highest potential damage or something like that, but it's still overall really good in my opinion. So in this game, I'm laning against a Camille, and this champion right now is super strong in lane because she takes Comet and she usually like pokes you with her W, and the Comet hits like 100% of the time because you're slowed by the W, so it's quite hard to lane against honestly. So my goal in this matchup is basically just to live early on, and I probably should have started Doran Shield if I respected her a little bit more. Because Doran Shield really negates a lot of that early game harass, but I thought I could get a level 1 she's on her, but when she approached the wave, I actually went for a Q and she hit the W on me immediately, so I couldn't really go for any more like extended trading. But overall, yeah, in this matchup you just want to make sure that you get as much CS as you can early on, because like the first few levels, like levels 1 through 5, are gonna be really rough because she outtrades you a lot. As you can see here, I'm misplaying, I missed the E there, but I get the spaced auto and I get the Q damage on her as well, so I get the healing, but she still turns around and W's me and she heals up a lot of my damage and she slows me so I can't chase her, and overall it's really hard for Darius to trade against Camille early on, but once you reach level 6 you should have the advantage. So here my Mumu shows top, and he kinda backs off and I'm pretty low, so it baits Camille to go in, but I almost died there actually, and now I'm so low that I can't really contest this, but a Mumu should be able to kill this very easily, so overall it's a fine play. Maybe if we were a bit more coordinated I wouldn't have to like walk up and bait to like use my flash there and stuff, but overall it's quite fine. And here I needed help to push out the wave, and this is really important as a jungler that you can see this, because now I needed to push it out by myself for quite a while before a Mumu came, and this gives Camille the time to actually TP on that creep, which would have been dead if a Mumu was there earlier. So now Zac comes up as well because he sees the opportunity and we both die there, so that was quite sad. Anyways, I walk back up to lane again, I buy another Doran's Blade and I buy a longsword. I want to make sure that I build a lot of like damage in this lane, because the only way to actually win versus Camille is taking like really hard trades against her, because if you just like let her poke you with her W and you don't really go in, she will just like slowly but surely win the lane and get an advantage over you. So my preferred setup here is just to build a lot of AD so you can maybe get the all-in on her, and especially level 6 you should have the advantage. And a cute thing you can do with Darius into Camille is actually when she E's on you, you can E her mid-air and it actually cancels the stun and everything. Like it's quite hard to do, but you can predict it sometimes, and if you manage to do that you will win like the all-in very shortly, so because then she doesn't even have an escape left, so make sure that you try to time that. So here my wave is really good, so I'm just gonna like hold this wave here for as long as I can. Obviously it's gonna push out sooner than later, but it's still a really good wave for me, and because I lost early game like quite a bit, which I should in this matchup, I'm actually behind a little bit on CS, but if I continue to have this wave management and just safely CS under tower, I should be good, and eventually I can catch up to Camille's CS score, and then we're on an even playing field, and since I'm stronger than her at level 6 in all-ins, I should be good. Okay, so here I'm just trying to hit as much creeps as I can. I get the hook on her here, I get the trade here, but she's level 6 and I'm level 5, so this is actually a really bad trade for me to take. I get the 5 stack on her, but as you can see she deals like a lot of damage, so that was actually quite a bad trade for me. So here it's quite risky for me to stay, but if their jungler doesn't come, I'm actually safe under the tower here, because I know she doesn't have ultimate, and Darius is actually really hard to die because he's very disruptive with his slows and kiting and healing and his E, so she can't really dive me here, so I can safely farm up this wave. I get level 6 here and I'm gonna recall. I actually lost a lot on that gank earlier where Zac came and Amumu didn't help me push at first, but I should be in a fine position once I get some CS still, so So I just try to get as many last hits as I can. As you can see, like for the past 2 minutes, I've had the wave like in front of my tower, which is like perfect wave management, and this is partly due to me, but also due to Camille letting the wave stay there. What Camille should do is she should take a bad trade, and she should let the creeps go into tower that wave, because either I can tank the creeps in front of my tower, I mean, and take a lot of creep damage, or the wave resets, and she wants the wave to reset because she's stronger than me right there, and she wants to take like an extended trade like in the middle of the lane, or be able to at least poke me down and chase me for a longer distance, because if I'm under my tower she has like little to no choice but just CS, because she can't like straight up dive me. But as you can see here, I'm level 7, and this is like around the time that Darius actually get the advantage in this matchup. As you can see here, I get the Q on her there, I get 4 stacks. Zed comes up for a roam here, he gets a lot of damage on her, I flash for the auto dunk. Now it's really important that I got that last auto there, because that enabled me to get 5 stacks and the increased ult damage. If I didn't do that, if I just flash ultimated, we wouldn't get that kill. So it's really important there to make sure that you get 5 stacks before you ultimate basically, but that's quite basic. But in those clutch situations, it's very important that you actually still think about like consciously, how many stacks does the opponent have, do I need to get 5 stacks to get the kill? More often than not the answer is yes, and then you have to make sure that you flash in a distance where you can get the auto and the ult and not just the ultimate. So okay, so here Camille TP's up, and I actually didn't know she had TP there, so I was a bit caught by surprise there, so I actually ghosted away to make sure that I didn't die. Now, the good thing with Ghost is that it's not as impactful as TP most of the time, but it's on a way shorter cooldown, so you can use it like you can use it more freely basically. So here I walk up to lane and I see Amumu on Jhin here, they were initiating a lane swap, and I see Blitzcrank and Zac here as well. Now since Zac and Blitzcrank doesn't really have that much damage, I'm actually pretty sure we can win this fight, so I'm gonna go for it. I get 5 stacks on Blitzcrank, I hook Jhin, I get the ult on him here, and here I get a really clutch Q. If I didn't get that Q healing there, I would have died for sure. Now I get Blitzcrank as well, I'm pretty low here still, but Zac, as you can see, he does like no damage to me. I get the Ultra Q as well, and then I get the triple kill, so that's really good for me. Now mid is roaming, this is quite unfortunate. I actually knew this was happening, but there was not much to do, honestly. It's still overall a good trade, I think. We got 3 kills, I mean, and Zed only got 2. It's quite sad for a mid laner, but overall that's a good play to make, especially if you're playing like solo, to get like 3 kills yourself and having an opponent get 2, because if you like know what you're doing and have good initiative in the game and stuff like that, it's good that you're fed, and it doesn't really matter so much if one of the opponent's members are fed if you're better at them at the game. So here the lane phase is pretty much over, but as you can see, I saw Jhin walk on a ward there, and I saw he was like hesitating to walk up because he's quite afraid to check me. So I'm gonna take this plant and I'm gonna time it perfectly where he comes out of Fog of War here. So he walks up like this, and I hook him, and I get the W, the Q, the auto, the dunk, and that's a pretty free kill. So here we get the tier 2 tower top as well, which is really good. So now I have like no reason to stay top, so I basically base and I go towards bot lane. I see Zed roaming here, I'm not sure he actually sees me. Now he's quite he's quite screwed in this situation. So get the auto on him there, and he's actually dead to the bleed here. I don't know, I'm chasing like a bit too much there because I know he was dead to the dot. So here I'm just gonna try to rush bot here and see if we can kill Blitzcrank. Now I'm quite tanky at this point, so I can just walk up and tank this tower if my team follows up. So I hook him, I get the auto, the W, the Q, and as you can see, a really good thing with the phase rush and electrocute on Darius is that his E, even though it doesn't deal damage, actually counts as a stack. So if you do like an E, an auto, and a Q, you actually get the phase rush. Same with electrocute. So here Zed gives me some credit in all chat, always appreciated, so I give him the thanks, you know, show that respect to the enemy team. So here I'm just gonna shout out top. I had no incentive to stay bot there. Nash is not up yet. If Nash was up, I probably would have went bot again, but since it's not, I'm just gonna farm up top wave instead. So here we see Zac in the river, and this kill is quite hard to get, and we actually don't get anything, but here a fight initiates, and this fight is really bad. We got a little bit caught off guard there. There were 5 people top, and the team didn't really communicate it properly, so that's quite sad. Anyways, after this, I reset, I go into top again, and Amumu gets a really good ultimate there. I'm trying to get my stacks on Blitzcrank here. I get 5 stacks on him, I get the Q on both, I get the double dunk there, that's really nice. And then I'm just gonna make sure my Q hits all the Zac spawns or whatever they're called. So we get 2 kills there, that's nice. We didn't really get any objectives though, but here I'm shoving out mid lane, and we see that a lot of people are going bot lane here. Now this is a perfect example. If you go back and watch my Fizz coaching, I said that it's like really important to make the correct macro decisions as soon as you see something off on the map. So as you can see in the chat there, and when I zoomed in on the minimap, as soon as they showed a lot of people bot, I spammed as many pings as I could on Nash, and my team immediately goes there. Now if I was like 5 seconds late on this, as you can see, the enemy team would have been there and they would have been able to maybe smite contest it, so it's really important to be very decisive and fast on those decisions. So here I get 5 stacks on Zac. We're basically trying to fight here. As you can see, our Nash is actually timed out because we didn't really do much with it, but at least it gave us a lot of golden tempo. So here I'm just going to try to get as much stacks as I can there. That's really good. As you can see, I'm super tanky, so after we get those 2 kills, I basically just chase them under the mid tower here. Now there's not really much they can do to kill me. As you can see, I kill Camille quite easily there with the help of my team, and now we're just safely gonna take the mid tower and the mid inhibitor. As you can see, we got away safely there, so that's really nice. We got 4 kills and we got the mid tower and inhibitors. That was really good. Here we grab the Ocean Drake because it's pretty free. I'm pushing out top to get pressure in the lane while my team is starting Nash. We have a lot of vision on them. We see Zac and Sadie in mid, so this is pretty safe to take. Actually, Zac like barely reaches this Nash in time, but as you can see, we finish it like right as he gets close to the pit, so that was really clutch. Now Zac tries to go in here, and I get the E on him to peel off from my teammates, and I get 5 stacks on him, and he actually ults me straight into Jin's face, and I just Q dunk him. It's so sad for him, actually. I would be so pissed at my Zac if I was Jin there. It was actually hilarious. Then I get the dunk on Blitzcrank as well, and as you can see, the game is pretty much over here. The good thing about this game was also that they were pretty much full AD. They only had Zac for magic damage, so I could itemize a lot for like AD and armor, which is super good for Darius. So here I'm just gonna chase Camille. As you can see here, I do lots of damage on her. I basically just like straight up one-shot her. That's the power of Titanic Hydra and the ultimate on Darius. It's like such high burst. It's actually insane. But anyways, guys, thanks a lot for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed this or you learned something. If you have any questions about Darius, feel free to ask them in the comments below. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.